Ah! Do you ever get super stressed out? So today people are more stressed out than ever. We're dealing with a lot of nonsense with this whole COVID situation. But even before COVID, life was pretty stressful, and we live in a very stressful world. And if you struggle with low energy and fatigue and just feeling stressed out and not knowing how to deal with it, this video is really going to help you out. And a couple years ago, when I was in rough shape and I was tired all the time and wasn't sleeping, stress was a major factor for me. And I didn't know how to effectively deal with stress. And I did a lot of things like drinking to excess and just partying and other not so healthy things, a lot of binge watching TV. But I was doing a lot of things that would kind of make me forget about the stress, but I wasn't effectively dealing with it and processing it. And the thing to understand about stress and feeling stressed out and just figuring out, okay, how can I stop this, is lots of times we attribute our stress to an external event. So we're going about our day, something happens, and all of a sudden we're feeling super stressed out. And we blame that event. Maybe it's our kid isn't listening, like mine wasn't this morning. Maybe it's we're driving and somebody cuts us off or is tailgating us, or maybe you get in an argument with your significant other. All these different things can really put us in a stressed out, stressful situation. And the thing I want you to understand is the external event is just the thing that set it off. But the true cause of you feeling super stressed and feeling stressed out is actually it's internal. And what happens is when you don't effectively deal with just the day-to-day stressors that are happening throughout your day. So in many cases, there could be hundreds of stressful events happening to you every day, just dealing with your kids, driving to work, maybe you turn on the news or something, dealing with people in your life, your boss, just all the number of different things. And when we don't deal with these, it builds up, then something happens, it sets you off. And the different emotions, the different feelings that can really build up inside of us are things like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame. And guilt and shame are actually some of the worst ones. So the real key to understand is our natural tendency when we're faced with these things is to suppress or repress them. So suppress them is when we consciously do that, when we just kind of shove these emotions down. And repression is when we're not even aware that we're doing it. Something happens and we've done it so many times, we push it down. And guys do tend to be a little bit worse with this because, guys are raised, especially when I was a kid, you were raised to not show feelings. Showing sadness was a sign of weakness. So women do this too, but men do it a little bit more. In my experience, my male clients are worse with this, but some female clients do it as well. And especially today, in today's world, it's there's just so many things, and we're never really taught how to properly process it. So something happens, and we want to be big. Maybe you're a guy, or maybe a woman too. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but something happens that makes you sad. Often we don't want to admit I'm sad, and we just we push it down, and that can just lead to more feelings of stress. And when something happens with our child or our significant other that kind of pushes us over the edge, and then we snap, that can then create different feelings of shame and guilt, and then it just all becomes a vicious cycle we get trapped in. So how do we solve this? How do we get out of it? So I'm going to share 3 steps that are going to help you completely eliminate stress. And this is not mine. I learned this from this book, Letting Go, by Dr. David Hawkins. He passed away recently, really, really brilliant guy. But if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of this is a great book to start with. Another good book of his is Power versus Force. But this book goes through all the different emotions, and it just really helps you clearly define different emotions. But something else that's important here is this map of consciousness. So this kind of ranks all the different emotions, but you can see that shame and guilt, maybe you can't see it, that it's a little small, but shame and guilt, they are the lowest here. Feelings of enlightenment, that's the highest. So this is a scale that goes from 0 to 100, or actually 1,000, I should say. If you're 200 or below, you're not able to really grow in your life. So you want to be resonating at a level above 200. One of the ways to do this is to learn how to release these different trapped emotions that are bogging us down and that are keeping us stressed out. So the first step is to identify the trapped emotion. And a simple way to do this is just to pay attention to your thoughts. Lots of times when we get stressed out, we'll be dwelling on a thought. It'll repeat in our mind, and we'll try to turn off the thought. We'll try to think about something else, and maybe another thought comes up. So what you want to do is you want to identify the thought. So maybe you got in an argument with your significant other, and you just keep on playing in your mind, I can't believe he or she said that to me, and that's really messed up, and blah blah blah. So that feeling you may be dealing with may be hurt, maybe sadness, something like that. Or maybe you worked really hard on a project and your boss gave you a hard time about it. So maybe you're mad. You could be angry about it. Or maybe you're just pissed off with like this whole ridiculous mask thing and you're angry about that. So just whatever the thoughts are in your mind, identify, okay, I'm feeling anger. And the second step is to acknowledge that feeling. So let's say if it's anger, if it's fear, we'll just go with anger. But if you're angry about something, just say, I'm feeling angry, and just acknowledge it. And then the third step is to really feel that emotion of anger. And something I like to do is, for me, lots of times if I'm angry or any kind of lower vibration emotion, I usually feel it here. Sometimes I can actually feel it in my throat, but lots of times it starts here. So what I'll do is I'll acknowledge I'm feeling anger, and I'll put my hands right where I can feel the emotion. What I'll do is I'll close my eyes, I'll just breathe through my nose. I'll just really connect with the emotion. And this can be really uncomfortable at times. And I don't always close my eyes. Sometimes I'll be driving and this will come up. And obviously if you're driving, you don't want to close your eyes. But I'll just breathe, and I'll just really connect with that emotion. And sometimes it really depends on how intense the emotion is. Sometimes you can process it in just a minute or two, and sometimes it might take longer. I once had some anger come up. It was like a year ago. It was something about something in the past in my life. I don't want to call anyone out, but I hadn't effectively dealt with it, and I had some thoughts that were just very pesky, and it was hard to get rid of them. And I did this exercise, and I acknowledged feeling really pissed off, and I'm really angry. And I was going to the gym, and so I'm driving to the gym, and I'm just breathing, and I'm feeling this, and my gym's only 5 minutes away from where I live, and I'm feeling this anger, and it just filled up my whole body. It was almost like a rage. It was really strong. It was really powerful. And so I get to the gym, I change, and I'm working out. And when I was working out, I was just really focused on the workout. Then I finished my workout, and this is back when the sauna was open in my gym. I always would finish up my workout with the sauna. So I was in the sauna, and I got in there, and no one was in there when I got in there. And I just went back to really just feeling this anger. I was just breathing into it. I was feeling it, and just my whole body was really feeling it. It was super powerful. And then some other dude came in the sauna, and I almost got self-conscious of it because I felt like I was filling up the entire sauna with this anger that I was feeling. And I hung out. I just kept on breathing into it, and it just started to kind of dissolve and go away. Usually it's much, much quicker than this. This was just, I hit like a huge vein, like the mother lode of anger in my body. And this took longer than normal to process, but I finished up the sauna, I took a shower, changed, I was driving home, and I just felt such a weight off my shoulder and this lightness. And it was a good feeling, and it was uncomfortable going through it. And when you do this, when you practice it, especially in the beginning, it is going to feel uncomfortable. But the good news is your body's going to process it. It's going to get out of your body. So it's almost like when you don't do this, it's kind of like you're a pressure cooker and you're building up. And if you have a pressure cooker, when it fills up, it's making that because the pressure's coming out. But when you never do this, it's kind of like you have a clogged pressure cooker. And that can be really dangerous because if the pressure can't escape, at some point that thing can just explode. And the same thing happens with us. When we don't allow these emotions to escape by properly processing them, we can explode. And sometimes that's a very bad situation. Something little happens, we explode on someone we care about, feel really bad, especially if it's our child or somebody really close to us. And it's just not a fun feeling to feel out of control. So just really feel that emotion. Put your hands wherever you feel it. For some people, it's in your stomach. But just really just kind of breathe into it and just feel it. Some people are more visual than others. If you're visual, you can almost just visualize seeing it. And just ask yourself, what color is this emotion? And just keep on observing it and keep on asking yourself, what color is this emotion? And for a lot of people, it might start out black. Or you might see it as like a dense blob. And as you're breathing, the color will change. It'll become a lighter color, or the blob might become somewhat translucent and might get smaller. And you might feel it rise up from wherever it starts up into your throat. You might feel it in your head. So just kind of keep on breathing into it, and keep on just feeling it, connecting into it. No judgment. And eventually it's just going to go away. It's going to dissolve. It's going to be gone. You're going to feel a whole lot better. And the good news is once you do this, you make way for more positive emotions. Because when you're stuck in fear, anger, guilt, shame, it's really hard to feel happy. It's really hard to feel joy. It's hard to feel peace in your life. So if you're just wondering why, maybe you're thinking my life is good, why aren't I happier? A good possibility is you have all these unprocessed emotions that are in your body, and you need to make way so you can you can make room for these other higher vibration emotions. And one caveat is there's nothing wrong with having these emotions and feeling these emotions. Things are going to happen to you in life that make you angry, that make you sad, that make you depressed. And that's a part of life. And when we have these different emotions, it gives us a contrast. So when we're feeling happy, joy, love, they feel that much better. If you never had sadness, if you never had anger, you wouldn't really have the full appreciation for these other emotions. So when something happens, experience and feel these emotions. If you lose somebody in your life, it's totally normal to feel sadness, to feel grief. And you want to honor that situation, that person, or that event. Honor that event with those emotions that aren't necessarily fun. And give your body the time it needs to honor whatever happened. And then when you're ready, just really connect, acknowledge, I'm feeling the sadness, I'm feeling this grief. Breathe into it, connect with it, let it process. You're going to feel a whole lot better. Not only that, you're going to have a whole lot more energy. So the main thing I help my clients with is just to feel more energetic, and that really sets them up for greater success in every area of their life. But a lot of people, they're going through, they exercise, they eat really well. And exercise is a good way to process, to manage stress, but it doesn't necessarily process these emotions. And a lot of people get really confused. Why am I dragging all the time? Why am I feeling down? And there's an energetic cost to storing these emotions in your body. Everything has to do with energy. And when your body is keeping these emotions tied down and trapped, your body's using energy, and it's at a subconscious level. So lots of times you're not even aware of it. Sometimes you are aware of it. But once you free up this energy, not only do you have happier emotions, but you're going to feel more energetic, and you're just going to feel happier. Life's going to be a whole lot easier. You're going to have more focus, better concentration, more creativity, and that's going to allow you to really just have a better life, and you're going to be much better positioned to connect with your purpose, to really be there for the loved ones in your life, and just enjoy life that much more. I did just recently create a new 2-week course that is, if you do struggle with energy, you do this and you will notice an improvement in your energy. But if after doing this practice, you want to get even more energy, check out this course. There's a link below, maybe on the screen somewhere. There will be a link, but it's a 2-week video course. I'm going to share some very simple but very effective practices that are going to help you double your energy over the next 2 weeks. If you're brimming with energy, I'm not going to guarantee it's going to double your energy, but if you struggle with energy, I pretty much guarantee if you follow everything in this 2-week course, you will double your energy or more. And I've been hearing back from people on day like 3 and 4 that they've already doubled their energy, not even halfway through the course. So go ahead, check it out. There's a link below. And if you have any questions, comment, or if you have anything to share, comment. If you got value from this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, and thanks for checking this out.